Thanks for staying with us. So mixed reactions have continued to trail the viral video showing ex-militant and the leader of the Niger Delta People's Volunteer Force, Asari Dokubo. In the video, he was seen brandishing his heavily armed troops as he walked to an event with his entourage. Part of his entourage were non-state actors bearing rocket-propelled grenades, general-purpose machine guns, AK-47s, and all. What are your thoughts on this, on the back of the fact that many have complained of the influx of arms into our country, the proliferation of arms to non-state elements? People who have guns are coming into, we just had an issue recently where Kuje prison inmates were set free. We're having issues where in Abuja, criminals have been let loose. And now we're seeing a man walking through a town with not just AK-47s, but serious ammunition, like somebody going to war. What are your thoughts on this? Do we still have a nation? Is this still a country? Are there still rules? Do we have leadership? Please call us, because we don't even know where to start this conversation. You can call us on 081-270-536-870-9139-076-948. You can tweet to us on TVC Connect. Please hashtag your TVC so we can read the tweets. And I'm almost frustrated of talking because it's like all we do, the only ammunition we have is to talk.
Our mouth.
And I will never advocate that we stop talking, because they will say, we're not telling Nigerians, not telling each other the truth. We tell each other the truth every single day, but nobody seems to be listening. What are your thoughts when you saw that video? Who are those people? Who are they? Are they policemen? Are they security operatives? Are they ex-army? What exactly are they?
What question are you asking?
No, I'm asking now because I don't know who those people are.
Asari Dokubo is no small man. He's an ex-militant. And this is what, he was known for. The guys around him, those weapons are not new to him. They are well-trained. They know what to do with those weapons. And when I saw the video over the weekend, my fear was, YK was talk about how if we lose our democracy and our structure of governance, we'll fall back to local warlords. This is a local warlord. In the Joy area, they never born you. When you call their name without voice, with respect, with humility. There's not, even the government in power know better than to belittle Asari Dokubo. And so when you see him doing this is a kind of reminder. I don't know what they are asking for this time around, but this is probably a reminder to the people in power. But we did here. We still
we are the powers that be.
We are the powers that be. And whatever kind of deterioration of our unity, our sovereignty that we have, that has gotten us to bring these guys back. Asari had left this country for a while. Went to start a school in Benin Republic, his university. He's piped low for a while, just, reduced it to just comments. To comments. The ex-militants were given amnesty. They went under that policy. They surrendered their arms and ammunition. They said they surrendered their arms and ammunition. And we would expect that sanity will be maintained by any government. The fear of this coming back and us reducing to local warlords is not something that
Let me come to you. Your thoughts. BC, what's up?
So, what I see here is that when a system is not working, when a system is not functional, everybody takes advantage of the loopholes to show forth their power. So everybody's looking around and they say, okay, it seems like a particular set of people are doing so and so, and the government is really not doing anything about it. Why do I want to suppress myself if I can still do my own since the government is not paying attention? That's taking advantage of the inadequacies of government and, showing, because after all, there's no system. Who will hold me? And we point that you have not held this, you have not held that, you have not held this. Why do you want to hold me? But in everything, I would have wanted him as a person to calm down.
Who?
Because
Asari?
yes, because it wasn't a ceremony he was going for. I don't know. Was he going to fight somebody? I have no idea. The entourage around him was just too much for whatever ceremony it is that they were going for. In a country that we know that we are trying to ramp up people who have guns. Every day we read in the papers that the government is catching this person, they are taking so and so ammunitions, we are trying to find where the sponsors are coming from, even though they are not even sincere in telling us who these sponsors are, because I believe that they know them. But it will seem like you're not paying attention to how the government is trying to secure the nation, and everybody just wants to, because everybody can actually be a warlord. Every faction of the country have their people who they can say, okay, since it's happening like this, let us protect ourselves. And I know that the excuse may be, probably he's afraid that if he goes out alone, that people will come after him. Nobody's safe right now. And everybody tries as much as possible to, you know, protect themselves. But I feel this is a bit too much for him on the streets to go out with that. Will I call it audacity now? As in, on the streets, no police can come, no military on the streets.
You don't know who Asari Dokubo is.
Now what?
You don't know who Asari Dokubo is.
I do.
These are people that the president at the time had to negotiate with them because they held the country to a ransom. And the thing is, with all due respect, this is what you get when you don't deal with one crisis. In another form, it will rear its head. So when you have banditry, you have Boko Haram, we treat terrorism with kid gloves, we have commercialized kidnapping into a full-time work. People have left their farms. People have left being cattle rearers to now say that our job is to be a kidnapper. People have created a career.
It should, in our GDP, we should include banditry because obviously it's revenue.
The train attack alone, 100 million naira being paid almost for. I'm like, where are they getting this? I had to sit down and I was meditating on 100 million naira that is being paid by all the people that are being released. And how much that will do for my rl0rd as a real estate company, how many people I would employ, the ripple effects in the economy if we had let that money circulate. But we could have raised that money. What am I saying? We had an issue with the Niger Delta militancy. It was a legitimate fight, even though we don't like how they went about it. There was a system to resettle them. But now, this is in response to the fact that they are legit. There's a threat to this nation. I don't think we understand. Some people came on an international platform to declare threats against our president, threats against states. People left, children have left schools in panic. People in Abuja cannot go to work. There is a crisis. So if this man says that he's going to a party and people are carrying those kind of sophisticated weapons to show that you cannot dare come to my own zone. That is where people are going to now. Everybody start looking for how to get guns. It is self-help approach now because the government seems to be unable to handle the situation.
You reminded me of something. You see, sometimes when things get to this level, we need to take a few steps back. Where did we start from? I remember when Sheikh Gumi was saying we should discuss with these guys because we gave Niger Delta amnesty. That we should have a conversation. Everybody objected. No, how can you do that? Well, they're not the same thing. They're different things. Everybody, these guys, these bandits are saying, some of them, not just the bandits, these people that are kidnapping are saying that they came into the country because on the premise that they'll be giving social amenities or something like that. They have a grouse against the Buhari's government specifically. So Sheikh Gumi was saying, let us have a conversation with these people. What do they want? Because now it has degenerated. He himself is tired of going to negotiate for us. So now, everybody, all the various ministers across the country are already raising their heads. So, should we go back to the negotiation table?
We're not even talking to one person anymore, Morayo.
They're now more people. They're now morphed into different groups.
So
they are everywhere.
That was the grounds of do not negotiate with them because you won't finish negotiating. They don't have one face. The Niger Delta militants, even at the time, even though they had their different factions, they had a common ground, so they could be called. But you see the terrorists in the north, they don't have one face. And what you see, the people that know kidnapping, these bandits think they know kidnapping. The people who know it, the originators of it, are the militants in the Niger Delta. They kidnapped every foreign-looking expatriate in the Niger Delta. They know the business. And our government seems to sit down and think that these people don't know what to do. If you continue to pay bandits, the people who originated kidnapping will say,
this thing is more lucrative. Let's go back.
No, now we start this business now. We know them. You know that kind of thing. And you allow them come out and start more problems before you know it. This problem, God forbid, it becomes too difficult to solve. And then we now resort to locally protecting and policing. Which local police, which state police want to combat Asari and his boys. These ones don't die before. They're not afraid of death. I think the government now should be asking, and the DSS, what was the work of SSS and DSS?
My sister, I'm even lost.
What job did they create them for? Before you say you have an intelligence on anything, the DSS has it. They should know why Asari will do a display of his might in his area. This display is a warning. That's what I know.
So the people, it's in response now.
But
this display happened after there was a report saying that they are everywhere.
Let's leave Asari, let's leave militants, let's leave all of them. Talking about us, the people, how do we feel about seeing this? How does it make a Nigerian citizen feel? Do you feel secure in your country? Do you feel your country is actually ensuring your safety? I mean, because aside from because sometimes these militants are there. They are in their corners. We don't see them. They know they might have all their
do this on the streets.
But they're not coming out on the streets. It's a whole different ball game.
Before we see Tompolo,
I'm going to break because the conversation for me is not so much about Asari. If you have your gun, do your thing yourself. But coming out on the streets is a whole other communication to me as a citizen. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So I asked the question before the break that how does this make us feel? Because sometimes we need to get to the root of not just what we see, but how it makes us feel as a country, as a nation. So Dokubo is going to answer that question.
Yes.
Seeing that display, do you think the people feel safer or the people feel threatened?
If I am living in that community and I've been following the news and I've seen how a group of bandits have said that they have penetrated everywhere, they are going to attack everywhere, seeing an Asari Dokubo carry those arms, I'll feel safe that I have someone on my side who will defend me when the bandits and terrorists come. That's the feeling I feel people in the community will get. They will also get a feeling of, I must be on the good side of this man. I would rather obey this man. Because this man has shown me he has power.
He can protect me.
He can protect me. I would obey this man. So what has happened there is someone has won the confidence of the people. There's a very high likelihood that someone has won. If I'm there, I would feel that way because I know that if I call the 911, if I call the emergency number, maybe they will say they don't have diesel or they are trying to get things together. But maybe this man might be the phone number I should have. Because if I'm in this community and I call him, these are the kind of guns that will show up to protect me.
If we want, for example,
safety.
Juxtapose that with Lagos. So, for example, now, MC Lomona comes and gets guns. Would you not feel safe? I said, let's not start something we cannot finish. If we assume like it's Asari in a community making you feel, should we start getting some boys in different areas? Okay, would Lagosians in their own various communities feel safer?
When somebody
within Koshafe has...
We're already doing it. How did we handle, as a child, I grew up in Amod of Mile 2 estates, when they were robbing, they robbed our house, they were doing door to door, they wrote letter, they were coming. Like terrorists have written letter that they are coming. What did we do? We called OPC. We paid them. They came with their guns and their cutlasses, and they protected us. We did not get attacked.
So who is fooling who? The state police is not what we need.
So we are already using vigilance, we are already helping ourselves.
So
the difference, you have started.
You know what I'm saying? Because
it's a form of state policing.
1 second now, it's a form of state policing. Because if you cannot trust the federal government or the center to protect you, but you rather an Asari Dokubo in your community that you know that you can trust, then who is fooling who?
So you know we don't like to tell ourselves the truth.
Absolutely.
The federal government's policing system cannot protect Nigerians. They have failed in that. They are not ready to protect Nigerians. I want to use that word, and I know why I'm using those words. Because they should know that they do not have the capacity. In terms of number, they don't have it. How many policemen do we have for over 200 million Nigerians?
And some of them with VIPs.
It's a game of numbers. We need to match the numbers. We don't have it. The ammunitions that we need, we don't have it. The sort of trainings that we need to equip these people, we don't give it. The sort of welfare, we don't give it. So who are we deceiving by telling them that the federal government can take care of you? It's obvious they cannot. We are talking about self-help. Every community saying, CO, it's only us that can protect ourselves. Right now, before you call on this one, they don't have fuel, like you mentioned, they don't have diesel, they don't have this. No, you need to come and report a case that they see koro in there before. You need to come and make a statement first. We don't have all of that. And we're saying that we can, within ourselves, we have local boys who around the street, vigilante, that will say, okay, come and stay in so and so place. We'll equip you with this. And they help. Yeah. You hear them ringing bells in the middle of the night.
I'll come to you, Nima. I'll let you respond.
Okay. No, I'm not finished, though. Take your call and come back.
Let me take Yakub. Good morning, Yakub. Are you there?
Yeah, Morayo, I'm there.
Good morning to you all.
I don't know, maybe you can give me just 2 minutes because I have a lot of things to say. Morayo, see, because of the time, I totally agree with all of you in the studio. Why? And then I'm not surprised that Asari is coming out like this. Why? Because is that the government tell us that they know who the sponsor of Boko Haram is. Up to today, they were not mentioning it to us. And then the government as a whole, since 2010, get the criminal, the hardened Boko Haram get arrested. They keep them in Kuje prison. They were not execute them until they were free. So what do you think? And then let me give you a just simple story here. Morayo, I traveled back home of recent. When we are talking about kidnapping, it is not only Fulani kidnapping now. Even the Yoruba. I can tell you that even the Yoruba, because they attempted to kidnap one of my friends, at the end of the day, they failed in the fourth time. And then I give kudos to Amotekun boys. And then when they failed this thing, the Amotekun beginning to monitor this guy. And then they were not telling the body, they were monitoring him. Do you know these people attempted to kidnap him again? And then Amotekun guys, they arrested them. When they beginning to mention who behind it, the people that we know in our village, they behind all those guys. They beginning to pick that they pick almost 10 people that we know in the village. So almost 8 people and then 2 Fulani among of them. So what are we talking about? I totally agree with Obi. Nigerian government can never police all the Nigeria. It's better we go to state police.
Thank you very much, Jacob. Let me come to Nima because I know that you have...
There's a wide difference between state police and what the OPC offered. I don't know what you saw, but I saw the excesses. I remember that I was living in Ibadan State at the time. If you lived in Ibadan State, the excesses was as bad as the power to rape a girl and there will be no consequence.
Yes.
That happened when we wrote to GC in 2008. I am saying from experience, I'm not telling anybody's story, it's my own that I know. That the family of that girl can point to the boy who raped their daughter and he will say that the boy's family will say, what do you want to do? Let her come and marry and she'll continue an oppressive circle. That I saw. So these people, let's go back to Niger Delta. When they started in Niger Delta, they were offered amnesty. They were offered the NDDC to create. Who was paid? The communities or the warlords?
The warlords.
So they use terror to get their monies. They are not fighting any... you trust them. They are not fighting your war. You go clear for your high when they share money. Nobody is fighting your war. You need a civilized agency of government, structured democratically to protect you. Something that when something happens, you can take the person to a court and hopefully you can get justice. When you come to these people, it's one man's judgment. You cannot get justice. So you think that an Asari boy will kill a family's son and he will kill his boy? Is that how it works?
Absolutely.
Warlords don't protect nobody. They protect their own selfish interest.
So absolutely. You are 150% correct. What we're trying to say is that there's a need for a closer police unit, all being organized. Yeah. So we don't want to see whereby the excesses is what we are saying. No, there are those ones that are not structured, and they have the excesses. What we're saying, an organized state policing system that will protect you and protect me is what we're saying. We're not saying that Asari's militancy is here to protect.
I started by saying that this system, we saw what went wrong with the system when it happened earlier. And even people felt that the basis for kidnapping bandits asking to be funded and brought back was because we had done it with the militants. So they felt, if you do it for militants, you can do it for us too. That's one of the problems that we have. And once we start with one person, we'll be continuing it to be spiraling. But when you are faced with the fact that your life is at risk with bandits and external forces, you will say, the devil I know is better than the angel I don't know. So that for me is one of the challenges. BC mentioned that we don't have enough forces to fight the personnel to fight the crisis we are facing. Our personnel are still being used as VIP, even though the IG has said over and over again they should be withdrawn. They are still used as VIP. Number one. Number two, we're facing a criminal that they are willing to die for their cause. They know that as I'm going out, I will not come back home, and they are willing to go. So fighting those kind of people requires a different kind of intelligence. Yeah. So as the Asari Dokubo show of force, we can sit down here and say that we don't agree with it. But the people in the community might feel like, this is someone close to us. I know him. He knows me. He knows
I better be his friend.
I better be his friend. It's not a solution.
It's not
a long-term solution. It is in no way a solution.
They might live in terror also. They might live in terror knowing what happened.
Okay, let me take this call from Oluwafemi. I'm sorry, but we all agree that what he's done here, this is criminal. This show of force is wrong.
Criminal, what has the government done?
So we have a government that is incapacitated, obviously, to confront these kind of militants.
Why is this criminal, please? This is criminal.
Sure.
Don't we have a firearms act in this country?
Yes,
that kind of gun. See that long gun. I never see
criminal.
This is not a legitimate.
This is not a legitimate security agency. No individual should have this type of arms and parade it on the streets.
And it was on video until now.
But we don't have government that is willing to combat and face this situation. Nobody. They won't do nothing.
They will not do anything because the people who have kidnapped, we're still negotiating if we should pay 100 million or not. Nigerians are upset. I didn't feel anything when I saw this because the news that gets me, excuse me, agitated is when I hear that a school was ransacked and several young children were taken away. We hear that people who have been taken away since how many years ago, some of them are getting pregnant and having children there. We hear that people who had the Abuja-Kaduna train that were kidnapped, till today, we are still negotiating how we are going to save them. Those ones that even saw the light of day. We're not even negotiating, yes. Those ones that even saw the light of day, they had to pay hundreds of millions to come out of it. That is what makes me feel bad. Seeing somebody walking on the street is left for government to decide this is against the law. We want to have a conversation with you. It's not my business. My business is the government should protect the people that they have promised they are supposed to protect. My business is that government should provide the infrastructures that will make Nigeria... See, Nigerians are suffering too much to be worried about somebody that is passing on their own with guns. That is not the problem on ground. What are you doing about the insecurity today? The Southwest states they've been hearing that they are all over the forest waiting for an information so that they can attack. What is the government doing? What are the Southwest governors doing? What are the Southeast governors doing? That is what infuriates me. Not that somebody is walking on the street.
Let me take this call from Bob. Bob calling from Jos. Good morning. Are you there? Hello. Good morning, Mr. Bob.
Hello, my sister.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, my credits have been burning. I think you people should know that it's very hard to get money now.
I'm so sorry,
sir. You have been burning my credit without picking it.
I do apologize,
money is very hard to come by. So that apart, well, I think we can see the level of lawlessness in this country. But from what you two have shown us, you can see the level of lawlessness. You understand? Does democracy permit lawlessness? That is the question I want to ask. No. Does democracy permit lawlessness?
No.
You understand? If democracy does not permit lawlessness, we should arrest this issue from individuals. It's just like a mountain having an army of his own. Where is it done? I think like it's not Nigeria we used to know in the past. Where is it done? I kept on saying during Shagari's time we don't see all this kind of a thing. You understand me? Even in the military time, during the Biafra time, we don't see all this kind of nonsense. Even during Obasanjo's time, we hardly see this thing being displayed. Yeah, you hardly see this thing being displayed. I think government should be very, very serious on this insecurity of a regime because it's a level of insecurity. You understand me? When you see all manner of security of your network, in the past, we don't see that kind of a thing. What you see is police, what you see is army, what you see is the Air Force and Navy. That's all. But then you see all manner of security in the public.
Thank you very much, Bob, because there are various layers of this conversation. There's a layer that this is outright criminal. What was done, totally outright criminal, absolutely. And nobody's disputing that or arguing that. What we're trying, the crux of the other part of this conversation is the fact that if you are living in that community today, and you're reading the papers, just like Tokwe has said earlier, that bandits are coming into your bushes, they're coming into your forest. You are seeing that people are being kidnapped, they're paying ransom every day. You are scared of your children going out. And suddenly you now see an Asari Dokubo, who is the guy down the street, carrying arms. So we have guns. Oh, so we have rocket-propelled grenades. Oh, we have this, we have that. Okay, maybe let me go and find a way to suck up. It doesn't make it good. It's worse because then they also have the flippancy where they have no control, where they can do anything. But you see, if you're living there, suddenly you now feel, maybe I should just go and pitch my tent with Asari Dokubo. That's
self-preservation.
Self-preservation. But what we need the government to do is to protect us. So we don't need an Asari Dokubo in our community. We don't need anybody buying guns. But my question is, where are they even getting these guns from?
I don't know.
Where are they even, where are they? How are these ammunition? Because they're not produced in Nigeria.
We don't.
So it's entering this through the ports.
Yes.
Who is inspecting?
That is the intelligence they should trace. Because we don't know. But those that know that the only way these guns can come into this country, they are channels. And those channels can be blocked. And if you block those channels, you will reduce the proliferation. Somebody I know, they kidnapped someone in their farm. It was in the papers. And the person was saying the kind of guns they brought. It was like you're watching all those American action movies. That according to the paradise people and the Fulani people, a few of them were headers, and a few of them were not. They were foreigners that came there. They paraded people that they found culpable in this kidnapping. They had massive, as in the kind of weapon that you see in Oyibo movies, was the one they are using in Ogbomosho. They can hardly. So these are people that can hardly speak. They can buy. They were speaking Yoruba. Yoruba combination. I don't know about the English, but it's not about the education. But they were able to find their hands on guns. Yet we have millions or billions of naira going to intelligence reports and gathering, and we don't know how they are getting the guns in. It's not my own job to know where the guns come in now.
By now, we should realize that crime pays in Nigeria more than being good. Government begs criminals and pay them large sums of money. Northern has followed the trend of the Niger Delta bandits. If big criminals are caught, they are given good treatment. It's a vicious cycle. Emmanuel says, ordinarily, the state should have monopoly of violence over everyone. But this is Nigeria, not any ordinary place. And non-state actors comprising warlords and ragtag armies can freely brandish RPGs publicly, as in Somalia and Afghanistan, without fear of repercussion in the state. Andrew says, good morning, ladies. I will be very worried if a warlord starts to protect our community. This will mean the Nigerian nation is descending into Afghanistan full of warlords. God help us. That's how Afghanistan started in 1979.
Exactly. Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue this conversation and open our phone lines to get more calls. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're now opening our phone lines again to get more calls. 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. Please tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweets. You think that in the last 48 hours that this video came out, we would have heard from the police, DSS, the army. Somebody should say something about this. The video goes viral and everybody just goes mum. You think in a proper state, in a proper country, we should have heard somebody say, we saw the video, we're investigating where the arms came from.
The IG,
we're doing like the IG. Somebody says, we must have heard something from somebody.
Those who go to equity will have to go with clean hands. What do you want to investigate? That somebody took a walk, even though we know that it's criminal to have all of those ammunitions. But he took a walk on the streets. He did not hide in the bushes. He was
He
walking.
must prove to us where he got that from,
Yes.
who he bought it from.
Yes, but it's not easy to do it when you don't have the moral justification. You have failed in your own job. You have failed in protecting lives and property.
But the law backs you up to ask those questions. The law backs you up as a police.
You were going to get to Kano jets to be able to erase all of the terrorists that have been terrorizing us. You have not done it. You don't have clean hands. You can't just question somebody without clean hands. Even if you want to show that force, you would have checked the caliber of the person you're coming to show force and understand the dynamics. The government needs to understand that Nigerians are vexing. Nigerians are upset. It's not about calling one person to question the person and negotiating with another that is even doing more criminal things. You need to balance it. What problem do we have? Insecurity. Who are those people perpetrating this insecurity? Terrorists and bandits. What have we done so far? How successful have we been? in naming their sponsors. Because when you take them out, they bring more guys. You take them out, they bring more guys. So you need to name the sponsors.
No.
All the information that you said you have of the people where they stay, where they, the people who sponsor them, the people who put in funds, the people who are in government, till today we don't have them. Nobody's being prosecuted. And you say you have clean hands to go and question somebody who's walking on the streets. Let us face the problem. The Nigerian government knows that there's a problem in their hands. And I want to believe that right now they are hitting their heads together to see how they can solve the problem. I don't think this guy is your problem right now.
Okay.
So I think that you are correct. Nigerian government...
But let me pause you for a second. I'm sorry, Nima. You guys are holding. Good morning. Are you there? I have a call.
Hey, Morayo.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes. My contribution is this. My prayer for Nigeria is for Nigeria to have the journalists, the media, to have freedom of press like we have in UK. Because I realize that you people are afraid to express your feelings sometimes, not BBC or media in Nigeria, like we do here. Not that the government has failed. The government knows what to do, but they choose not to do it. In Zamfara, they turban the leader of bandits as Serikin Fulani. What does that say to you? Because it's Fulani, so they don't want to kill the Fulanis, not to offend the president. That's exactly it. They turban the man, Serikin Fulani, the whole world watch it. In Zamfara. He said he didn't beg for it. And he went back to the forest as a Serikin Fulani. Read those who that have been kidnapped. They will tell the same story. That is the same people. So they know what to do. They have the capacity, but they don't want to do it. I always tell you, when this government change, you will see the reaction. You will see that security will go down. People will now act without fear. That is the problem. A 9-year-old girl was trapped outside London here. Within 48 hours, they are ready.
Okay, we lost that call. Nima, you're saying something.
Yes, I was saying that this is correct on the failures of the government. So initially we started to deal with bandits. We didn't have a title for them. We said we didn't have the weapon. We paid for Tucano. We celebrated Tucano never arrived. We celebrated the almost arrived. We celebrated the not arrived. After arrival, we don't celebrate nothing. We just total mom.
But they told us that Tucano couldn't be deployed because of collateral damage.
That one was later. They said Tucano could not be deployed because they have not been tagged terrorists. So they cannot go there. They had to proscribe. So they went to court. He went to court. He got them proscribed as terrorists. And the moment they got proscribed, we don't hear anything again. Now we are hearing collateral damage is preventing, you know. So we allowed it fester. We allowed it grow. So, and Asari can be saying to them, I will protect my people no matter what. And it will work freely. What I know for a fact is I doubt if the government can confront an Asari on this display.
So
that I doubt.
I went to check the president's Twitter handle. I didn't see anything. I went to check the Senate. I'm trying to see the Nigerian police force Twitter handle.
Why you're searching? Let me take this call from Lucky.
If they have said anything concerning the video that went viral.
Lucky from Abulegba. Good morning, Lucky. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Good morning.
Morning.
First time caller.
Welcome to the show, Lucky.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate your program. And,
thank you, sir.
Thank you. God be with you people. So I just want to chip in a little point. You know, the last caller has said it all. There's nothing hiding, so they know. They know what's really going on. But I believe the system of the government, if we can have the system of changing of the government, I guess everything is okay. Our security personnel can do more, even our soldiers. But because of the power from nothing. Exactly because of the power. So if they can continue to remove our, I don't need to mention the impeachment, you see everything in between. Look at Obasanjo, nothing like this happened. During the Jonathan, nothing like this happened. But I don't want to say more. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You know, when you keep watching this video, you're thinking to yourself that, look at the level.
The audacity.
The level of emotion. So when Governor El-Rufai was saying recently that he was the one that went to go and break the news to our president that terrorists were threatening him, you know, that was so, I was shocked when he said it.
It was not that
there was not that. The president didn't even know.
That's an indictment.
Oh,
the president didn't even know.
Our president is soft.
I don't understand.
Our president is old. Our president
Biden
is a grandpa.
but Biden is working.
You know, and I've said this thing before, that the president, I do not support insulting the president. I don't support using bad language, because the president is old enough to be my grandfather. It's not a joke. If he play, he can be my great-grandfather safe. So the conversation is never about disrespecting him, but he's holding the title of presidency, and he holds the life of Nigeria in his hands for the past 7 years. And we've seen how it's done, because prior to him coming, we didn't see things like this. Bandits did not have the nerve to call out the president. But 7 years into government, we've seen how the bandits can grant interview saying this. We've seen how somebody can make a chief out of Turban, a known bandits, because they want peace in their community.
Let me read this message. Peace in their community. Somebody said that Asari Dokubo carrying weapons is not the first time. It happened during Jonathan's period. We saw militants in the creeks with the ammunition. So why are you people acting as if it's the first time? Yes, it's not the first time we're seeing militants heavily armed. We're saying they're walking the streets of our towns. They're walking the streets of our communities. They're coming. Then they were in the creeks. You knew they were there. But now they're coming to town, displaying their ammunition, communicating to either me as a citizen, communicating to the government that I am here, or communicating to the bandits that I'm here to protect. So we don't even know who they're talking to. But they are communicating. We don't know who.
That if you try it around here.
Nima, we don't know.
I just want to assume.
What if they're also telling community that we are here, we'll come and collect your money? They could be different things.
What if they are the community too now? Police that we are here. So it can go any ways. They can be defined in any way.
When it comes to the bandits up north, they never attacked their own people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They attacked what they perceived as government presence because they refused to develop the area. But what now happened when the government met with them? When Yaradua came in, this was during Obasanjo. When Yaradua came in, finally, a government that wanted to sit with them came in. He had a sit down with them. They were invited to Asari Rock. They walked freely in and out. They left with their own. Nobody attacked them. Nobody locked them or arrested them.
So it's different.
So somebody listened to them. And when the negotiations and their demands started to be met, they ended this. We saw that the area still didn't develop. But certain personalities
upgraded
overnight. That is what we need to question.
Establishing schools everywhere. Let me take this call from Kingsley. Kingsley, are you there? I'm going to wrap up soon.
Money.
Yes.
You're live. Go ahead, please. Give me comments on social.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. You're live.
Please, I want to thank you for the good job people are doing.
Thank you, sir.
I want to do my contribution. Hello?
We can hear you, sir. Go ahead.
I lost confidence in government when I saw the video in Zamfara. A government abandoning a kidnapper leader. And there are security agents in that command, and they were saying they are declaring wanted. I don't know whether it's a matter they cannot arrest in that particular place. So I lost confidence in this government in this of security. In this of Asari Dokubo, please, my sister, this man, he's sending a signal. You might not understand what he is. One, he's sending a signal to Buhari, and I think you are safe, and you are failing your government. Call me, I can assist you to fight this bandit. Secondly, to defend these people. Let me tell you, wherever you are living in Nigeria, now whether Abuja, whether in the north, whether in the east, whether in the south, and you don't plan to defend yourself, you are wasting your time. You are wasting your time. Please, Asari Dokubo is sending so many things now. One is sending Buhari. Have you ever in the history of Nigeria a stupid bandit bastard and saying they want to kidnap a sitting president?
I've said this like 50 times.
Thank you very much. Let me take a few comments on social media.
Olajumoke says, natives are given assurances by terrorists to protect them, which primarily is the job of government. Youth would rather join forces with anyone to protect their people rather than wait for the irresponsive government to protect them. Government may not be able to do anything now. Festus Akibewa says, sadly, there are many warlords in our country that consider themselves untouchable. These warlords should be behind bars, but we have a weak government. Chiedozie says, let's not be deceived. If we agree to let the devil protect us, he will exact a price we will not be able to pay. As long as whatever policing methods we subscribe to doesn't get it clear from the onset that we are their employers, this nonsense will continue.
Ogos almost says, true. Local warlords come up to help save their people from the terror of Fulani headsmen and Boko Haram. It is the government's fault. They did not deal with the Fulani gunmen until now. They do not want to.
Okay.
Rolake says, in Nigeria, it is unlawful to be law-abiding. Criminals are honored, but the struggling youth is being harassed by police. The greatest level of impunity started in the APC regime. Every Nigerian is depressed because Nigeria is synonymous to depression.
Okay, so we have to wrap up on this, but I think we all agree that Asari Dokubo's display of ammunition and parading of these things on the streets obviously is wrong, it's criminal. We're also saying that it's a strong indication to the government of the proliferation of ammunition across our country, and also the fact that the people feel that the government cannot protect them. And when they see warlords like this carrying ammunition, they somewhat feel safer. So the government must go back. There was a word I saw yesterday. Get back to your senses and see how you can ensure the safety of lives and property of Nigerians so they don't have to depend on the community warlords for protection. It's really even more sickening that our president was told by a governor that one of the terrorists were terrorists that kidnapped the Abuja Kaduna train were threatening to attack him or to kidnap him. He was hearing it from the governor for the first time. Now, I wonder, does our president read the papers? Does he even speak to his security aides around him? So these are questions Nigerians are asking, especially now that the Senate is even the PDP of the Senate and the National Assembly are instituting an impeachment proceeding after 6 weeks. They're giving an ultimatum that after 6 weeks, they're going to start the procedure for impeachment. These are real issues. Is the president aware of these? Maybe he's not even aware. They are trying to impeach him. They might not have told him. So maybe we need to keep talking about this so that our president understands what the gravity of what's going on and what's at stake for him, because it's sad to see this kind of display, and the police, the Inspector General of Police, is yet to say anything against this display of ammunition. We've not heard from any of them. They just kept mum. How do you feel safe as a country? Do we feel safe? That's all we can take on this. Give you something to think about. When we come back, move on to another topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.